What are you doing in terms of completion of the monorail?
No. That is not. It's a no-go area. It's a white elephant project. It has no meaning to us. A project of 1.5 kilometers, and we have spent 45 billion.
Now, the fact that the monorail might not be in operation yet doesn't mean that there isn't work going on in the monorail. Do you concede that?
There's no work going on.
There's no work going on.
There's no work
So
going
the
on.
monorail never started?
No, can I pay for a ticket to go there yourself?
I'm just asking you.
No, but I'm confirming to you, it's not working.
That is
it will not work.
But they're building it at the moment.
Building what?
So they're not building it?
Building what?
This is the Port Harcourt Monorail. A lot of questions have been asked about this project anyways. A lot of money have been spent by the previous government and they abandoned this project. And people ask, where does this monorail lead to?
Before Lagos unveiled its Blue Line and Red Line metro systems, many people don't know that Port Harcourt once attempted its own modern transit project, a monorail. The Port Harcourt Monorail, also known as the Rivers State Monorail, was envisioned as a major solution to the city's traffic problems and a pioneering rail system for West Africa. Launched in the early 2010s, the project moved quickly at first. Elevated tracks were installed, concrete pillars rose across the city, 3 stations took shape, and even a train car was delivered for testing. Yet the project never reached completion. What was meant to be a landmark achievement soon stalled, leaving behind an unfinished structure, heated debates over funding, and widespread criticism labeling it a white elephant project. In this video, we'll explore the monorail's original purpose, why it was abandoned, how much was invested, and what remains of the project today.
The open area by the train station is now a park for trucks and a gathering place. Inside remains densely wooded, posing great risk by allowing criminals to hide. Residents hope officials will reassess the train station's project viability.
Kindly like and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on the latest progress and developments across Nigeria and Africa. The original vision, an urban monorail for Port Harcourt. The monorail project was conceived as a short, high-frequency urban monorail train linking dense parts of Port Harcourt to relieve chronic traffic along the Port Harcourt-Aba corridor. The planned Phase 1 alignment was modest in length, roughly 5.4 kilometers, and intended to connect key activity nodes, Sharks Park, Azikiwe, UTC, and onward. The technology chosen was a Intermin P30 People Mover monorail system, a modern, single-beam elevated solution intended for fast boarding and short interstation distances. Politically and symbolically, it was presented as transformational. It would be the first monorail of its kind in the region, an icon of modernization, and evidence that the Rivers State could deliver world-class infrastructure. Construction activity began in the early 2010s, and the project was promoted in public briefings and press coverage as a signature legacy scheme. What was actually built? On the ground, the project did produce visible structures. Piers, an elevated guideway, and at least 3 station shells were completed for Phase 1A. In addition, at least 1 Intermin vehicle for testing was shipped and briefly tested on the guideway. The physical works were substantial enough that by mid-decade, local residents and visitors could point to large spans cutting across parts of the city, unmistakable proof work had begun. Yet the completed works never entered commercial service. Despite early claims of imminent commissioning and public demonstrations, the line never carried paying passengers. By 2016, activity had slowed considerably and the project ceased to progress to full operation. Why the monorail stopped? Political change, funding disputes, and contested priorities.
Sorry about that. Now you're talking about projects abandoned. What are you doing in terms of completion of the monorail project?
No. That is not. It's a no-go area. The entire Rivers people have told me.
Touch it?
No, the entire Rivers people have told me not to near that project. It's a white elephant project. It has no meaning to us. A project of 1.5 kilometers, and we have spent 45 billion. I don't want to even talk about that. When I took over office, I did say all projects that have direct impact, it does not matter that this government did not award it, I will complete them.
A cluster of political and financial reasons explains why the Port Harcourt Monorail stalled. The most immediate trigger was political change in Rivers State. The project was initiated and promoted under Governor Chibuike Amaechi's administration. He awarded the contracts and championed the scheme. When Governor Nyesom Wike took office in 2015, he publicly distanced his administration from several high-profile predecessors' projects, including the monorail. Wike repeatedly stated he would review and in some cases not continue projects he judged not in the public interest. And the monorail became a politicized example of that shift. Wike's public position that he would not touch the monorail underlined the break with the previous administration and stalled momentum.
Now, the fact that the monorail might not be in operation yet doesn't mean that there isn't work going on the monorail. Do you concede that?
There's no work going on.
There's no work going on.
There's no work
So
going
the
on.
monorail never started?
No, can I pay for a ticket to go there yourself and
I'm
see?
just asking you.
No, but I'm confirming to you it's not working.
That is
it
never-
will not work.
But they're building it at the moment.
Building what?
So they're not building it?
Building what? You just go and see yourself. It's not good. You are told the story. Go and see yourself. And you come back and then you confirm what I've said.
Beyond political turnover, criticism focused on value for money and procurement. Different figures have been cited in the public discourse. Opposition politicians, new administrations and watchdogs traded accusations about how much had been spent and whether contracts had been mismanaged. Some politicians argued the design and procurement lacked sufficient transparency, while critics said the scheme was overambitious for the state's fiscal position and that the technical choice, an imported interming system, carried high capital and life cycle costs. Finally, the project ran into a predictable combination of fiscal pressure, cost overruns, and changing priorities. When governments change, capital budgets are reallocated. When a governor announces he will not proceed, private partners and financiers often withdraw or pause. In Port Harcourt, these dynamics conspired to halt contractor activity and leave built assets idle. How much was spent on the project? One of the hardest aspects to pin down is a single authoritative figure for total money spent. Public discussion has produced a range of estimates. Several national and investigative media reports have cited an aggregate figure close to $400 million as of 2015. That $400 million figure has been widely repeated in coverage of the abandoned works. Local coverage and some political statements have used Naira figures that vary. For example, at different times, the project has been reported as a 150 billion Naira scheme, with claims that 30 billion Naira or more had already been spent by a certain point. Political actors have used lower or higher figures as rhetorical tools, alleging waste or defending the partial investment. One of the later governors, Nyesom Wike, claimed 34 billion Naira had been wasted by predecessors on failed projects, including the monorail, while independent reporting and analysis suggested the actual cost when measured across years and currency swings was materially higher.
A project of 1.5 kilometers and we spent 45 billion.
Technical and contractual issues. Beyond politics and money, practical technical issues also complicated completion. Elevated monorail systems are specialized. They depend on imported rolling stock, bespoke guideway tolerances, specialized signaling and vendor warranties. The project used Intamin's monorail technology, an established but niche provider, and imported at least one test train. Sourcing spare parts, setting up maintenance regimes, and training local staff are all recurring commitments, areas that require sustained political will and operating revenue streams to support them. When construction paused, the supply chain and technical support chain for the system was interrupted. Warranties lapsed, expertise dissipated, and the delivered vehicle and assets were left without a long-term operations organization to sustain them. In short, the technical model was viable if the project had been completed and properly funded on schedule, but it is fragile when political support vanishes midstream. The current state as of 2025. The most recent reporting and site visits through 2025 paint a consistent picture. The elevated guideway and station shells remain standing but unfinished. The train delivered earlier is not in passenger service, and the corridor is described by many locals and journalists as an eyesore or a stalled asset. In 2016, the new administration effectively halted further work. Subsequent years have seen no substantive revival of construction, and media investigations as recently as 2025 still list the line among abandoned or stalled high-profile projects. Local debate continues. Some argue the project could be revived and offered to private investors as a public-private partnership, PPP, if properly restructured. Others insist the scheme is economically unviable and that the Rivers State should repurpose the assets or remove them. Practically, the guideway remains a visible but unused element of the Port Harcourt cityscape. Who is responsible? Accountability and lessons learned. Responsibility for the monorail's fate is contested. Supporters of the original plan argue the project was innovative, forward-looking investment and that the subsequent administration halted it for political reasons. Critics counter that the scheme suffered from poor procurement, lack of continuity planning, and unrealistic budgeting. Political dispute between the two administrations, Amaechis and Wixes, including public exchanges and accusations, has left the project politically toxic and difficult to resurrect without a depoliticized financing and governance arrangement. The broader lesson for Nigeria and subnational governments everywhere is clear. Transformational infrastructure requires continuity across election cycles, transparent competitive procurement, realistic life cycle costing, including rolling stock, spare parts and maintenance, and binding agreements for handover or PPP transfer in the event of administration change. Where these elements are weak, projects become easy targets for politicization and abandonment. Can the monorail be revived? Realistic options. Several theoretical pathways exist to salvage value from the built assets. 1. Restructure as PPP and attract the private operator. A private firm with access to capital and operational expertise could complete the system, invest in training and maintenance, and run it under a revenue model. This will require a clean procurement process, transparent contracts, and likely additional public support to make the concession bankable. 2. Repurpose the guideway. If passenger service is not economically viable, the elevated corridor could be examined for other uses, for example, utility corridors, pedestrian greenways, or light freight, though conversion costs are non-trivial. 3. Dismantle and recycle. If the guideway is deemed unusable, materials could be reclaimed. While politically sensitive, this might reduce an urban blight and free land. 4. Federal or state audit followed by remediation. A full forensic audit of spending would establish a public record, help settle political disputes, and potentially unlock funds or legal remedies for misprocurement or malpractice. Any revival plan requires political consensus, credible financing, and a realistic operating model aligned with Port Harcourt's passenger demand profile. The Port Harcourt Monorail story reads like a cautionary tale. It began as a high-profile, ambitious attempt to modernize the city and deliver a signature infrastructure asset. Physical progress proved that parts of the plan were deliverable, but the combination of political turnover, contested procurement, unclear financing, and fragile operational planning left the scheme vulnerable. The result? Hundreds of millions of dollars worth of partial works sit unused. Public trust has been eroded, and the city still waits for the transport solutions the project promised. The most immediate constructive step would be a transparent public accounting, an audited, reconciled statement of what was spent, what exists, and what legally binds the contractors and the state. With that foundation, Rivers State, the federal government, and potential private partners could evaluate whether rehabilitation, restructuring, or repurposing is the responsible way forward. Until that happens, the Port Harcourt Monorail is likely to remain one of Nigeria's most visible examples of an infrastructure project that ran out of continuity before it could finish its mission. Guys, I'd love to hear what you think about this project.
Where do you believe things went wrong? And do you think the Port Harcourt Monorail will ever be completed someday? Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss updates on Nigeria, Africa, and major developments across the continent.